Story 1. If you do not get all your teeth fixed while your parents are still paying for it, you will have serious problems at 30. Story 2. I would tell my 14-year-old self that I never received any of the scholarships he applied for and that I would never get to study architecture. Story 3. Your brother dies hating you. Your mother dies because you trusted the wrong person. You will develop an incurable brain condition. Story 4. I think my 14-year-old self would not care that I am beginning to go bald because my father did so too. Everything else, my 14-year-old self would be more than proud. I am literally working with personal computers and have gotten stronger recently. It took my 30-year-old self a lot of time to realize that I have mostly everything I always wanted. All my goals from this point are new goals because I have achieved everything I always wanted. Story 5. She does not see you that way, brother. Never will. Anyway, proceeds to tell 14-year-old self BioShock Infinite and The Walking Dead Season 2 game spoilers. Story 6. 14-year-old me is going to be completely shocked. At 44, I have an awesome job, title, and salary, a nice home in a good location, multiple great cars, a happy, healthy marriage to a beautiful, smart, funny woman, 2 beautiful, smart, funny daughters, a great dog, pretty good health and physical fitness, a life free of undue stress, plenty of good friends, a good relationship with my parents and siblings. The only thing I can think of that 14-year-old me would have any problem with is that I have lost touch with most of my friends from back then. But 14-year-old me was scrawny and nerdy and got bullied a lot. I was depressed. Expectations would have been pretty low. Story 7. I am not a model, and I did not marry John Taylor from Duran Duran. On the bright side, I have a great husband and children. I retired at 51 after more than 25 years as a medical assistant in dermatology. Story 8. Probably a lie. Like, you finally got to transition, but we lost our whole family in the process. Everybody thinks you are dramatic and a bother. Other than that, the world has not gotten better. Fascism is on the rise, and World War III is imminent. Story 9. Easy. 14 years old me was depressed because she could sense she had it good, and it was all downhill from there. Becoming an adult is awful. I would just have to tell her she is right about everything. Story 10. Unfortunately, for this post, I have to brag and say she would be very happy. I have a loving wife, a nice house in a small town, a sweet dog, and I still enjoy reading. I think she would be confused about my line of work since I was so antisocial at 14, but that is it. Story 11. You become overweight. You lose your style and your coolness. You stop drawing. You do your hair like an ordinary person and enjoy sitting on the couch now. On the upside, you have a beautiful family, a beautiful home, money, a car, and a fridge full of food. Story 12. I never got pretty like I hoped. 14-year-old me would probably spiral even faster knowing this is for life. Story 13. She was worried she was fat while weighing 30 kilograms less than me today, so I guess that was her first and last straw. Story 14. You all are going to have to put down one of our dogs in 2017. Mom is going to die from lung cancer in 2019. We will have a pandemic in 2020, so say goodbye to your freedom. Dad is going to leave his stable job and get a job at a factory, making only half of what he used to in 2021, so it will be difficult to afford things for a while. One more thing, we will probably have World War III very soon. Story 15. You are going to be a depressed, suicidal, and anxiety-ridden alcoholic. From now on, everything will worsen day by day. Story 16. How much weight I've gained. But I think he would be happy and proud that I graduated college with honors, started a good career, paid off my house at age 26, have been happily married for 17 years to a beautiful woman who is way out of my league, and have a great child together. Oh, and he would love my current vinyl, compact discs, and cassette collection. Story 17. Nothing ruins their day. I have changed so much since I was 14. I would be so impressed with myself to see the legend I have become compared to back then. Story 18. You are going to break up with her and regret it forever. She will also regret it, but you will never get back together. Story 19. Your parents prevented you from investing in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now worth tens of thousands. If you had held the money you wanted to invest, you would be rich now. Story 20. To be honest, my 14-year-old self would probably be quite happy to see me now. My teenage years were the worst years of my life. Story 21. You have an addictive personality. You cannot just dabble in substance abuse, so do not even try it. Story 22. Nothing. She would be so excited and proud to see what a good life we have made despite how hard things were at that time. Story 23. I tell them how well off they would have been if they had invested in very specific stocks and cryptocurrency at a very specific time. Past me will be so mad when they find out future me should have done that. I can only hope they find a very specific way to not make the same mistakes. Story 24. We sell our Bitcoin and only make a few thousand. We have been chasing that opportunity ever since and have gone broke several times. Story 25. I think 14-year-old me would be pretty happy with the way life turned out, but my blindness would scare the young me. Story 26. Number 14-year-old would be extremely excited to see me right now. In fairness, his standards were very low, but I'm glad I moderately exceeded them. Story 27. You know that girl we are head over heels for? Yes, she is going to break your heart. To soften the blow, I will tell them we marry the athletic girl who could defeat us. Talk about marrying up. Story 28. I tell him, both your parents will die of cancer by the time you graduate from high school, but you are going to get really good at guitar. Story 29. Telling him that fascism is quickly on the rise in most of the Western world. 14-year-old me was very idealistic and optimistic. Even 40-year-old me was still pretty optimistic. The year 2016 changed that for good. Story 30. Telling the answer to their question, did you get that cool motorcycle? The answer would be, no, I grew up and realized that it is way too dangerous. Story 31. Telling them that all the hope the world had back then is gone and we have a reality television star as president. Story 32. Probably not much. I was in the early stages of a deep depression at 14. I would be pretty proud of my current self. Story 33. Honestly, I think she is going to be very impressed. I live alone, have a comfortable job, have many cute cats, and look better than I expected at 14. She will also be thrilled to learn that my mother and I get along. Additionally, I am single and have no intention of having children. Story 34. Ask them if they have already masturbated. If they have, keep doing that and you will end up like me. That would cure my masturbation addiction very quickly. Story 35. He will just see how fat I have gotten, and it will be enough. I used to be a skinny kid and a skinny young adult. When I met my wife, she fattened me up. Edit. Also, my dad died. Sorry, buddy. Story 36. I think 14-year-old me would be pretty calm about it. I grew up in a difficult home in poverty, and now I'm still poor, just in a different way. I have been living in different short-term rentals since March while waiting for my visa. I am married, have 2 children, and work remotely. They would probably be displeased with my weight, the fact that I have had cancer, and the 2 children screaming at them. But hey, you cannot win it all. Story 37. Tell them your favorite grandmother dies when you are 16 and your father 8 months later. Go call them and fight to see them. Also, your mother is not that great, and Child Protective Services should have been involved. Do not listen to her about your father's side after he dies. Currently, they would be happily surprised. But 14-year-old Emmett has a rough few years ahead. Story 38. Do not go to Hawaii and join youth with a mission. It is a cult. They will manipulate you and damage your family, friendships, and education. They will offer exorcisms for your disabilities, use you for child labor, and send you overseas to be sexually assaulted. After breaking you, they will call you a Jezebel and doubting Thomas and shun you. By the time you are 16, you may want nothing more than to be dead. Do not go to Hawaii. Took many years to recover, but I am doing much better now. Story 39. My 14-year-old self was a conservative Christian person, so probably his realization that he is going to hell, I guess. Story 40. There are a few things that might, but to be honest, if he only has 30 seconds, he would be too busy being amazed by what I was able to accomplish for him to hear about the negatives. Story 41. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I am not trying to cause a paradox. I will not ruin that kid's day. I am not going to be around much longer. Story 42. You like cats now. You are actually a cat dad, and you have a tattoo of a cat. My younger self hated cats. I did not know better, so younger me would refuse to believe it and spend the rest of his day wondering where he went wrong. Story 43. Tom Cruise is still kind of attractive, but he has a controversial reputation. Try having a different celebrity crush each week. Look up Pedro Pascal in Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 4. You will enjoy it. Also, try to study more. Story 44. All those problems you are facing with schoolwork and motivation, the things everyone says you are just too lazy to do, guess what? You can be diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder at 46 years old. Story 45. Dad is going to die when you are 22. Go spend every moment you can with him and make sure he knows how much you love him. It ruined young me's day, but I do not know. Maybe it is enough that cancer could be caught before it becomes fatal. I also like proving people wrong out of spite. Story 46. Nothing. There is literally nothing I could tell him that would ruin his day. People like to complain about adulthood, but personally, my life is far better in every single way compared to when I was 14. I am not financially successful, but I am still doing far better than I thought I would be doing when I was 14. I am no longer being emotionally abused and tormented by my father. I have a beautiful, loving, and amazing girlfriend who is my soulmate. I have far better social skills and practically no social anxiety. I have a YouTube channel that I am growing and love working on. I have gotten into seriously good physical shape by going to the gym 4 times a week, which has skyrocketed my confidence. I have saved up to buy my dream sports car in cash. I miss almost nothing about being 14. My childhood dog was still alive, Halo 3 and Modern Warfare 2 were still popular and playable, YouTube was less corporatized and not dominated by influencers like Mr. Beast, and I was closer to many childhood friends and extended family. I made so many happy memories with those things, but those are the only things I miss. Story 47. You are not actually that smart. You will struggle at university. You have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and depression, but good luck convincing your mother and father that you need help. Being goth is cool, though. You should stick with that. Also, your friends will be friends for a long time, so keep that up. Story 48. Zayn Malik will leave One Direction. You will find out while running on the treadmill on a family vacation in Mexico. It will ruin the rest of your trip and your spring break. Story 49. You are about to reach peak childhood happiness. Enjoy these couple of years, which still kind of suck. Life is about to get much harder and more difficult for a long time. It will eventually level off, but it is still going to be challenging. Story 50. Hey kid, your father is going to try to find your hidden gun to harm you in 2020. Just stay outside when you hear yelling and call the police. Don't worry, later that year he will take his own life, and you will not have to be afraid of him anymore. Story 51. The state of commercial photography. 14-year-old me wanted to be a photographer. Older me is one, but the industry is on its last legs. I would tell 14-year-old me to join the fire department of the city of New York after September 11th, like 24-year-old me was going to do, but I moved to California instead. I would be retired by now. Story 52. I ended up being a woman who loves wearing pink, purple, and makeup. I was a massive tomboy at 14. I still won't wear dresses or skirts, though. Honestly, I think my 14-year-old self would be happy with 38-year-old me. Happy, healthy, and attractive. Story 53. Given all the difficulties I was going through and having to deal with at 14, my young self would probably be happy to know that peace will eventually come to his life. Story 54. The better question is, why do I waste time ruining their day? You have just confirmed that time travel exists, and you have provided me with a way to send information back to myself in the past. Buy Bitcoin, hoard at least 100,000 until it hits $100,000 in 2025. Then, sell it on the market and live happily ever after. Casually invest a few million each year in time travel research. Story 55. You are getting married to the girl you avoid at school. Little does he know that for 21 years she has grown and they are actually soulmates. Story 56. Would not even need 30 seconds, just looking at me and realizing that by 40 I still have not had the courage or lack thereof to transition. Story 57. I think I would inspire my 14-year-old self since I came out. Something I know she would have loved to know. Story 58. Probably. I ended up living only one town away from where I grew up. The dream was to escape the region. I think the realization that not only did I not do that permanently, but that I am also not widely appreciated for what I can give to the world will ruin his year, never mind his day. Story 59. 2 years from now, your careless advances towards your crush will humiliate her so much that she cuts contact with you after graduating. Now that should send 14-year-old Ube packing. Story 60. I could buy their dream car 100 times over, not because I am particularly wealthy, but because the car is now 25 years old and not particularly collectible. I have not done so because it is impractical and 25 years old. Story 61. People aren't actually evolving in any perceivable way, and things don't get better. They get worse and fascism becomes trendy once again. This was my greatest misconception as a child. I thought we had this and were going to become the stewards of the earth we were always meant to be. Story 62. No, you did not become a famous manga artist or filmmaker. Now drop those useless art classes and study programming. Story 63. When you turn 15, they will release Grand Theft Auto 5, and it is awesome. However, you will be a balding adult in a world on the cusp of war before you even see the trailer for the next game. This is the same across the entire game's AAA industry. Sequels take decades, apparently, so enjoy the next Fallout. It will be another decade or two before you see a new one. Story 64. Your otaku drawings are very ugly, and you are not an anime character, so grow up and stop being cringe. I am sure he would get angry. Story 65. Hey, you know that really cool group of people you met in World of Warcraft that you have been hanging out with in communications for years? Yes, it is all about to go up in flames because of one selfish individual to the point that you leave and start anew on servers halfway across the world, and you will be very lonely for the next 4 years as a result. Story 66. Honestly, probably just the fact that the world in general is still kind of difficult. 14-year-old me was very depressed, so I would be surprised that I am married, own a house, have children, and have a job in the field I wanted to enter. Story 67. They do not like the particular location where I live because it means I have failed at one of the few coherent life goals I had at that point. I do not like it either for the same reason. Story 68. My hairy legs and the fact that I am still chubby. She would be excited to learn that there is someone who could accept me enough to marry me. Story 69. Realizing I haven't started college because my parents were so difficult that I had to fight through homelessness and extreme poverty to get to where I am currently. Working a minimum wage job with a decent career in corn, something I would never have accepted back then, and recovering from the vast amount of trauma that I didn't realize would still affect me today because I didn't even realize my childhood was traumatic until literally about 2 years ago. There are many things I wish I could redo or undo and would have done differently, but I was vastly uneducated on everything. From knowing how to pay a parking ticket to how to register my car, apply for an apartment or get a job. I had to learn it all myself, and I had no idea that I needed all this to start my adult life on the right foot. Now, I am barely getting to a point where I can maybe pick up the pieces and potentially go to college, if not this fall, then maybe next spring. I don't even remember anything I learned in high school anymore because I spent most of my life and adulthood trying to actively remove myself from life. Most of all, my 14-year-old self would hate that I am no contact with my mom now. 14-year-old me idolized her, and I wish so badly I could have known how much I shouldn't put weight behind anything she said as I got older or in general. I wish I could tell my 14-year-old self to stop feeling so self-conscious. The problem was never her. It was always our mom and family. I'm not even religious, but I pray for my child self all the time because, in the end, she will always be a part of me, and I am terribly sad for the things she and I had to endure back then. Grace is best given freely, especially unto ourselves. Story 70. seeing that I pursued something that was not aligned with the dream I wanted for the very first time in my life. Story 71, you're gay, don't date that girl. It would ruin my 14-year-old self-stay but save me from 2 years of rape and abuse. Story 72, I think it would make my day to know that the weird aches, pains, and fatigue are lupus. I could tell the doctors what to look for instead of hearing the growing pains nonsense I heard throughout my childhood and teenage years. Yes, needing my legs rubbed every night because of spasms so bad they left bruises was completely from a growth spurt. Story 73, I would probably be surprised by how much less talkative I am nowadays and by the realization that I am not the person I thought I was back then. Story 74, she would probably be upset that I am not the tattooed goth queen I always wanted to be. My favorite color now is pink. I wear pastels, flowers, and hearts. I hated these things with a burning passion at 14. Story 75. Turning my Xbox on and seeing that none of my friends are online or that my unreliable internet is acting up again. It was 4 years ago, so not much has changed. Story 76. Honestly, nothing. I wouldn't say my life is perfect, but I have everything my 14-year-old self would have dreamed of. When I was 14, I was suicidal. I had no friends, I did poorly in school, I was obese, and I felt like I had nothing going for me. Now, I am in law school. I have a downtown apartment in a city. I have many friends, a girlfriend, and I am in great shape. My style is amazing, and I have tickets to see my 14-year-old self's favorite band, which had broken up when I was 14. I am living my 14-year-old self's dream. I am not exactly content with my life, but my 14-year-old self would be the happiest person ever in my shoes. It would give them hope. Story 77. I think he would be proud. 14-year-old me was self-destructive and always thought we wouldn't make it past 21. Now at 31, I am married with 3 beautiful children, a 6-figure salary, and a mortgage on our own home. Although not everything is perfect and we still work through childhood trauma, we are doing far better than we ever expected. Story 78. I told him that after this visit, our parents were very angry because they found out we had been drawing adult comics and made us tell them how much we had earned right after we, at 14 years old, returned to our original time period. Story 79. I am completely satisfied being a cog in the machine. The 2 times I was promoted to management were the worst periods of my life. Story 80. It does not get better, friend. You spend your whole life chasing your dreams, and in the end, you end up with nothing. Prepare for a life enslaved to money until you die. Story 81. As you probably know by now, you are different in the world. One might say neurodivergent, although there is no formal diagnosis other than dyslexia. I would advise you to start a journal documenting your thoughts, feelings, and experiences in life to seek a deeper understanding of yourself. On your journey through life, the discussion of dyspraxia will arise, which will prematurely end one of your chosen careers. With your general certificate of secondary education choices, the next 2 years will be challenging as your left and right hand will struggle to coordinate. You will be pulled in many directions, and your grades will suffer. This will affect your future prospects, potentially leading to a dead-end job with little to no progression. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.